So that wasn't too loud. That's the first time I've tried that. So I might fiddle around with that, change the news, but I like the idea of having a little like intro and things. So yeah, something fun to add to the stream. Anyway, welcome to the news for the 4th of June. We're in June now. It's happened. We're here in June, doing the news, and let's jump right in. Okay, first one to start off is Guilty Gear director answers various opinions and concerns. I'm not really sure he does. If you've actually read these responses, they aren't really that in depth, and they seem to avoid talking a lot of specific things. So I'm not going to read out the full article, but go read it yourself. If you're interested in Guilty Gear, if you're interested in fighting games, go check out all this information. My two major concerns are the lobby is awful. I hope they do, like, they shouldn't have done that. I don't think they can change it. I think it's too far in development. They really need to fix the UI. I think that it is so hard to parse information when you're fighting. And then the third one is, it just is rough in terms of like doing like combos, like everything is routed, movement, like there's just so many things they did to the combat. But yeah, did I do what? Oh, did I make the intro? That's not technically my intro. I found it some way. It's a free use one, but I think it's a fun way to just jump into the news. A little more dramatic. But yeah, hey Rusty, how you doing? Next one, we have the Pokemon Company announces almost a 15% increase in profits, making it second biggest year. So, not really surprised. Sword and Shield sold very well. With the Switch boost, the fact that people are interested because of they're interested due to the Switch just coming out. It sold extremely well, which is good, I guess. I personally have lots of issues with Sword and Shield. I think it's a fall from grace with a lot of stuff that they did to the game, and that they could do way better. But who knows? Maybe if with this money they might put it into good use and make a better game. But as we'll talk about the DLC, I don't think so. I think that this is a bad sign, personally, unfortunately. But yeah, Pokemon making lots of money. So we've got a new event coming up, Future Game Show 2020. So I think we talked about this before, but they've added more people. They've got a more solid date, time, and everything. But yeah, it's interesting because we've got quite a lot of big studios here that normally would have presentation space on E3, but they don't now. So organizing an event like this is, yeah, I think makes sense, and I'm excited to see what they do. You can't believe I do this? Oh man, I love doing this. I love learning about what's going on in the industry. But yeah, so this will probably be one of the bigger AAA presentations in terms of just showing off games. It's going from June 6, 2:30 PT. So it's a little while away. Who knows if this one will be delayed, as I will talk about delays in the future. Well, in this present news segment today, but we'll see. Double Fine is winding down its publishing operations. So, Double Fine, they're a weird company. I like the stuff that they put out. I think they deserve a space in the game sphere. but I think they bit off more than they could chew when they were trying to become self-publishing, especially since this thing points out that it got acquisitioned by Microsoft a while back. ANC, how you doing? But yeah, like, the games they did publish were good ones to publish. I'm very glad they did, but it's one of those things that probably was not the right thing for them to do per se. I feel like they sort of started lax on making their own games and a lot of the first stuff that they were trying to do, and so they just slowly were publishing things, not even that quickly. So yeah, it didn't feel right. But then again, Double Fine has never quite felt correct as a company in a weird way. Very indie, very AA, AAA indie. It's super strange. The Valorant. So I will probably not be playing this trailer because I'm not really interested. But if you are a fan of Overwatch, if you're a fan of League of Legends, if you're a fan of those first-person team shooters, Valorant is a new free-to-play one that is made by the League of Legends developers, Riot, and they have done their launch cinematic trailer and gameplay. So if you are interested, go check out these videos. They'll be up on Riot or the Valorant channel. This game will be big. I don't know how big, but holy heck, if you looked at Twitch when this game went into beta, it was huge. This game was massive. So Riot and League of Legends, never underestimate them. So yeah. Oh man. All right, we get to talk about Pokemon. Now, I've already talked a little bit about Pokemon in terms of the making money over Sword and Shield and Pokemon Go and all that. Now, Sword and Shield Expansion Pass trailer came out. Now, if you like Pokemon, if you like what Sword and Shield is, if you like all that stuff, that's fine. That's your thing. I am not happy. As a Pokemon fan, an OG Pokemon fan who played Pokemon Red and Blue on release, I'm not happy. I played every single Pokemon game on release. This game was not good, and this expansion pass is not good. The amount of content that is being added to this, fine. Whatever. It seems like mediocre. This stuff should have been in the base game. There's a whole heap of stuff that game is very thin, paper thin. You can get through it very, very quickly. It's very easy. The stuff that they showed off in the trailer is already shown off multiple times. But the big problem here, it's nice that it's coming out on June 17th. That's very soon. The problem is the price mark. $30 for a DLC of this size is way too much. Way, 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 way too much. I think it's just not... If I wasn't in a bad mood about this already, this made it worse. So, yeah. Hang on. I might play the trailer. I'm just gonna mute it. So they showed off a few Pokemon. There's a Slowbro that's the Galarian form. He has a Mega Man arm. It's fine. Kind of expect a few Galarian forms, but we really have only been revealed one, I believe. So who knows? They might show off some more. The areas look nice. Like, I will say, I think the new vistas and new areas look nice, but the fact that the camera is... You don't control the camera unless you're in open wild zones, I think really stresses just how little there is to the environments. I think it looks like there might be a little bit more personality in terms of the story and everything like that, which I'm excited for. But I'm not going to play this, so whatever. I don't like Giga forms, Gigamax. I think the replacement of Megas for Gigantamax was a bad call. But I also don't like this boy. I don't really like the new designs. Like, there's just so much that it's turned me off. Of all the generations of Pokemon, this is probably the one I'm the harshest. And I was fairly harsh on Sun and Moon. Yeah, just looks a bit more like Sword and Shield. These environments are nice. There's new forms of the Regis and new forms of the legendary birds. Cool. I love that tree. I really do like that tree. All the legendaries are back. These new legendaries are super weird. What else? There was one other thing I wanted to talk about with it. It's not really. Yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. I already considered this to, like, I thought this is what was going to happen to it, but this final trailer really didn't reveal anything. I was like, ooh, that's actually quite interesting, and I'm glad they're adding it to the game. For that price mark, they really needed to have done something to the game to justify it, but what can you do? Nintendo and, well, not Nintendo, the Pokemon company are going to do what they're going to do. Next up, we have... oh, actually, I'm going to remove this one. Or are we... Alright, yeah. Okay, we're into it. So, unless you're living under a rock, or have been avoiding actual news, real-world news, big things are happening in America right now. Very big things. And... of course, this was going to happen in some form or another, but it seems like a lot of companies are deciding to postpone a lot of events, a lot of things. And yeah, so they are all joining on the same side. Okay, so with the Black Lives Matter movement, if you have an issue with corporations jumping on the bandwagon, if that's what you want to consider it, putting themselves out there and saying this and then postponing because of they're actually doing it for personal benefit, whatever. They are doing it probably for business reasons. They probably do have personal stake in a lot of cases, as much as you might not think of it. But either way, it's a good message. If you have issues with that, you probably have issues with the movement, and then a lot of people are going to have issues with you. So, my point being is that there's a lot of postponing coming up, and we just sort of have to deal with it. That's just as simple as that. I think it's fine. Considering the event that's happening throughout America, the idea that things are being postponed really just... real life comes first. As much as we love our video games and our distractions, these things come first. I'll avoid talking about a lot of this stuff because, again, everyone needs to take a break from the real world when they come watch streams and stuff like that. But you will encounter this. This is something that is unavoidable. It is a reality to the world now. So, Cyberpunk has been postponed to June 25th. It looks like that one's actually one of the bigger postpones I think I've seen. Yep, just more. I think it was just going to be more reveals and stuff like that. It's not too crazy. However, the big one of a reveal delay is the PlayStation. So, if you've been watching my streams, you know how excited I am for this. You know in the past news segments that I've talked about this stuff. Yeah. PlayStation event got delayed. We will probably see if this continues. We might see the Microsoft stuff also get delayed in some form or another. But, yeah. I think this is the right call. The next generation, we know it's coming. It is unfortunate for a lot of this stuff because all the games industry has been pushed back from lots of events throughout the year, particularly COVID and now this. So it's going to be very rough on developers. I think having all of this pushed back so much, there's going to be big losses around the games industry. But who knows? financially, the world is going to feel these effects for a while. The economies will have issues. But, again, this is the right call. This is what they should be doing as a company, and this is what they should be doing as a statement. So, we just have to wait. It's just as simple as that. As excited as we might be for the next generation, we can just wait. Yeah. I think there's also some other, some other stuff. So you can read more about it if you want. More postpones. So yeah, this will be a segment of postpones. I'm just going to go through all of them and then some other stuff. So Capcom Pro Tours been postponed. That's the in-person tournaments and the online tournaments as far as I'm aware. So yep. The PC game show for the and it's included the Future Game Show, which is what I was just talking about before. So that's now June 13th. So Summer of Games is being pushed back. Again, that makes sense. So all that stuff being postponed, totally fine. Activision delays Call of Duty. Of all ones that probably needs to be delayed for, like, just because that game is about shooting and violence very heavily, having something like this delayed, probably a good idea. Now is not the time, is what they've written, and I completely agree. Continual from the Activision stuff. We actually have a bit here, which is Infinity Ward continues to do more moderate racist content. So I don't know if you've lived on the online sphere. I don't know if you have decided to look into if you've just been around, you can come across some pretty heinous things, some awful things that people put up there on just online spaces. Looks like Infinity Ward is rolling out something to remove racist names, derogatories, just like identifying people, banning things. This is what should have been done a million years ago. The idea that it took so long for them to implement it, and it seems like they did it very quickly, which means that they were able to do it a long time ago. This has been a push. Now we've had a push that this is what they're doing, and it's the same with like how Riot and stuff have been working against it. But these things now they are hard acting on this, which they needed to do a long time ago. So that's good. So at least when push comes to shove, they'll actually act. And now some positive news. We have a whole heap of donations. Square was probably the biggest one I saw. Hey Alex. We have Square donated $250,000, and they'll match employee donations. That's a lot of money. That's a lot that people can donate. That's really good. So that was really good to see. Again, people might have issues with corporations and their messages and all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, they're doing this stuff. Like, a lot of money is being given in, and there's a few of them, so I'll go through them, or the ones I was able to collect quickly. We have EA donating $1 million to various charities. They're also choosing their charities differently, dependent. So yeah, all of them have messages. All of them have a message. So if you wanted to read any of that, you can do that in your own time. We've got charity events starting. So organizations within the gaming industry are organizing charity events for developers, for people in general, which is good. So expect to see that. Humble Bundle, usually they're a big gaming charity group. They're committing $1 million for games developed by black developers. That's good, fantastic. Games industry donates to Black Lives Matter, and there's just more. There's just lots of them. There is lots of this. This is good. is what we want to see. Chucklefish, Digital Devolver, EA, Evo. Yeah, of course, I forgot it. So, if you aren't a part of the fighting game sphere, they have been very heavy on this, and they've been organizing small streams and gatherings and doing live donations and things like that. Lots of other ones. Games Done Quick, Fusebox. It's just really good to see. It's nice to see this stuff. When this industry really does come together and put people first, when especially on the non-AAAs, like they you can tell it means something to them. And we'll finish off with some lighter news. So, Sega's funny. If you were aware, I talked about some news that Sega were apparently hinting towards. And Famitsu came out and said they've got news that'll shake the industry. Seems like they took that a little heavy-handed because of the two pieces of news seem to not be that big. We have the first piece of news that Sega revealed themselves, not Famitsu, which is these Game Gear Micros. Small consoles, that was kind of a trend that happened, and they're very weird. Very, very weird. But, they're going away now. Not really seen for a while. But apparently Sega wanted to jump in it too late, sort of thing. And they made 4 different colors that have 4 games each. So that means if you want all 16 games, you're going to have to own all 4 of those colors. They are very small. I think it has in the video, it shows just how small it is. But that's how big the Game Gear was. I never owned one. I never wanted to own one. The games were never that interesting. Very few games on there. But as you'll see, it'll jump in and then it'll show just how small it is compared to adult hands. This is adult hands. So, and I've got quite large hands myself. Yep. So, imagine holding that. Look, my hands holding that, I would not be able to play that thing. It is ridiculous. I don't know what they're thinking. There's also apparently a peripheral that goes with it to increase the screen size. So you basically put like a giant magnifying glass on the screen and you look at that. But yeah, super weird. I don't know what they're thinking. Sega has always just kind of been offbeat, especially the past like 10 years or more. But yeah, I don't know who looks at this and goes, oh, I need this. This is something I really want to buy. There's a lot of retro enthusiasts that I would imagine are going to get it. A lot of collectors that'll get it. But general people, I don't know. I just don't think these will sell very well at all. But they're very targeted towards Japan. I feel like this is very, very towards Japan. Maybe towards the keychain lifestyle because they love their keychains. Yeah. Very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. Oh, here's the screen. So it's called Big Window Micro. So you slap this thing on. So it's like not only you have to buy all 4 colors, you have to buy that peripheral. Insane. An insane thing to do. But it's seeming that wasn't the big news that Famitsu was like leaning towards. That was just some super weird thing that Sega decided to do. The big thing seems to be something that got leaked, being referred to as fog gaming. Now, I've read from multiple sources, so I do believe this is accurate as to what the news was going to be, which is something called fog gaming, and it is basically cloud service for arcade machines. So if you've ever been to Japan, arcade scenes are still big there. They still are fantastic. I really love going to Japan to go to the arcades. And Sega is probably the leading group when it comes to arcades in Japan. They already make they make a good amount of money off them. But apparently they're going to use it as a technical backbone, using the CPUs and GPUs of the house arcades to use as a cloud service to play games. So you can play arcade machines from home. I think it's only really targeted at Japanese users. I don't know if you'll be able to use it outside of Japan. The commercial idea is to use arcades out of business hours. It's also probably to do with COVID. It's also probably to do with the fact that people are going to arcades less, but they might be able to access them on their phone and things like that. But yeah, it's super bizarre, but it makes sense. We'll translate this page. I'll see if I can get any information out of the official... Yeah. Lots and lots of news about this. This is likely what it's going to be. Famitsu hasn't actually put their article out. Maybe they'll have more details when they do. But yeah, bug gaming was the big thing. Really not quite what we were expecting. But who knew with Sega, really? Anyway, that is the news of the day, or the news of this week. Again, we probably will see a lot of delays. I was totally expecting the start of June to be just destroy me with news, but not in this way, not delays. That's not what I was expecting. So we will probably see this sort of spaced out, slowed down, and June will continue. And then we will probably get to mid-late June, and then we'll get back into the news that we probably should have had, which will be buffered up with news that was planned for that time period already, and then we'll go straight into July, which has a lot of news. So we're gonna have a week or two, I feel like, of lack of news again, or just people coming out and saying delays or changes to plans. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't stop Japan. Japan probably will still announce stuff. Not the AAA companies, but very much likely the smaller ones are still going to do what they're going to do, people around the world. But if places are based in America or have strong ties to America, there is a high chance that we will have delayed news. So, yeah, that was the news for today. Thanks for watching. We are going to play some Oracle of Seasons. And, yeah. Just have a chill day. So, again, I probably will try to avoid talking too much about the Black Lives Matter movement. It is an important thing. I have my own thoughts on it. But I don't think this is why you come to my stream. I think it's just to talk about games, to chill out, relax, but this one needed to be addressed, I feel. So, yeah. If you feel like you need to talk to me about anything, if you have concerns, I'm all ears and I'll talk to you honestly, but I probably won't bring up stuff myself unless something happens and I feel like people need to be informed as it happens. So, yeah. Alright, let's jump over to some chill chat as I set up our next game.